Islam, for a progressive Muslim movement here in the United States. Historically, Islam has always adopted the cultures of Islam. Different countries have always adopted Islam, and their Islam has lived through those cultural practices. Here in America, most mosques are congregated around nationalities, whether you're Arab or South Asian or Somali, and their congregations tend to practice based on their cultural practices. So here in America, we feel that it's really high time, and American Muslims are really ready to have an American Islam. That is, an Islam that we adapt into our American culture that also exemplifies the values of our American values. And that's what we are about. And what distinguishes us is the equality and the egalitarian practices that Sharon had highlighted earlier on. We are definitely create spiritual spaces that are LGBT friendly, but also for mixed faith couples. We have a lot of Muslims, especially Muslim women, that are marrying outside the faith. And where do they go? Where do they and their families go that will be welcome in the spiritual spaces? And where do their children go to feel accepted? So these are the spaces that we feel that is necessary and needed in America. Muslim women and LGBT Muslims can lead and give sermons. We've always felt that in Islam is a very merit-based faith. It's not gender priority, although obviously when you read the news and what you see in the media, that does not reflect. But when you go back to the Quran and you look at it, it says basically, it doesn't say for you to choose male men to lead prayer. It says choose from among you the most qualified. So we feel it is not against the Quran, the teachings of the Quran, for a woman to lead a co-ed congregation in prayer, or a gay man or a gay woman to lead a congregation in prayer. It's not an issue. It's about spirituality. It's not about your sexual orientation or gender. And finally, with emphasis on social justice, and I think Sharon really highlighted this really very clearly for us about what we do. We're very passionate. We're not afraid to stick our necks out, and I think for those of you who've read about us today in MSNBC, there was an article about Muslims for Progressive Values at MSNBC.com, so please Google us there. Our 10 principles. The program has our 10 principles. It also states what we're about and what we do. It's very concise. And it also has the Literal Secular Project, which is our project of re-educating Muslims about Islam. But briefly, I'll highlight one or two points that just to make it short, and you can read more about what our activism in the program. It's a very good, the program is actually a very good booklet for you to digest if you have some time. On compassion. It's a very deep word, compassion. For us, compassion means embracing the human race. I think I would like to go more into freedom of speech. Maybe I'll say one line on that. Freedom of speech, even those that we really hate. It is what it is. And we will support whatever the speech is, especially here in the United States. So, thanks. Okay, MPV brand, gotta promote MPV brand. So, we've got a book out. It's called Progressive Muslim Identities. And it is basically a collection of writings of progressive Muslims here in the United States and Canada. And what we wanted to do was push back to of the Islamophobia that's going on, the fear of Muslims in America and in other parts of the world. And in this book, you will see the writings of Muslims here in America and Canada that reflects really the values of just about any American and any Canadian, except they just so happen to be Muslims. And this is about their spiritual journey, and it's very heartening bits and pieces of story. The motivation for me to write the book, to have the book compiled and put out, was the bullying that happened, that was going on last year, especially of Muslim kids, and it's still continuing, but I just felt like bullying of any kids is unacceptable, whether you're Muslim or you're straight or gay. So this book is our effort to defend, to take down that fear factor a little bit. And I had a good friend of mine whose son, 12-year-old son, who was assaulted in the school bus, and my daughter, who you met checking everyone in, she was verbally assaulted just for being Muslim. So this book is really a pushback to that. And I hope you support us by buying the book. You can get it online, and please share it, buy it for gifts and to give away. And marketing, merchandising, we have merchandising that's online, and we also encourage you to support us that way. Online visibility and outreach, I guess that's a no-brainer. The website, Twitter, Facebook group. Our Facebook group is an open public group, and you will see an unbelievable level of discussion and debate going on there. And I really encourage you to read what the Muslims the progressive Muslims on that side, on that page, are discussing. And we have some scholars and professors also that join us in that conversation. And I mean, I've learned a lot just from those discussions. And Twitter, listserv, and of course sign up for our newsletter. And we are already also planning on starting out a membership format. So we have membership forms out there. So we have, human rights campaigns are very different about it, but I encourage you to join us and support us as a member in some shape or form, and the forms are outside. So, and we take credit cards. So upcoming projects. Obviously, it's growing our progressive movement, so we have some ideas. And if you sign up to our newsletter, you'll hear more about it. And Congressman Keith Ellison is going to talk about that as well, his ideas on how to do that. And launching a membership structure, which I just spoke of. Developing an LGBT outreach program. Now, we've always been very active in advocating for LGBTQ rights. Now we've decided we needed to be a little bit more structured in our efforts. So we have appointed Imam Dali Abdullah as our director, who's way back there. Wave your hands. I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. So he'll be heading that program here based in Washington, D.C. I'm very, very happy to be able to announce that tonight. And developing our youth educational program. This is really important and very dear, being a parent. But I sent my daughter to Sunday school, and I find that the teaching, even though it's supposed to be a progressive school, is still short in the human rights and social justice aspect. And so what we've started developing the past few years with Yarek Hernandez, who is an instructor, a teacher, and a great with kids. Yarek Hernandez, put your hands up, and he's also our secretary. But Yarek is, we've been developing the children's curriculum, and what's different about it is the values of Islam, not just how to pray and that sort of thing. Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to teach kids, boys and girls, how to lead prayer and how to do the call for prayer. But what's really important to teach kids at a young age about love for God, and how a loving God, and how when you read the Quran from the perspective of a loving God, your filters read differently than if you were taught fear, fear of God. Hell, heaven. We all know that orthodoxy. So with this sort of educational program, we hope that our children will grow up with this loving God. And of course, this educational program is very conducive with mixed faith couples and LGBT parents. So that's what this program is about. And last week, delivering the zikr, which was touched on by Sharon, and I will allow for Yarek to speak, and he's going to go deep in it, and that will be his presentation about the zikr. And thank you for coming.